and I'll talk to each of you individually on Friday about the agenda. So we've got prayer and pledge from 2 students here at the middle school, but Miss Mooney also has a choir that's gonna sing a song for y'all tonight too. So I think those will be really good things. We've got Special Olympics and 4th grade quiz bowl that'll be here. Mr. Span will be reorganizing the board tonight. So we'll need a president, vice president, secretary. And then after that, we will draw terms. And I think Ms. Boland has the envelopes, and what we did was did exactly like ASBA said, you know, to do 1-year term, a 2-year term, a 3-year term, 2 4 years, 2 5 years. And that is on each envelope, so y'all will just draw after you select president, vice president. Okay? Alright, on the consent agenda, minutes, enrollment, financial, anything you need to share on that, Ms. Bowen?
Nothing unusual.
Okay. Okay, I know our facilities
We
guys
did
are
get
out
the
there.
tax money. And so, I mean, that's kind of, I've planned to share in my report, but we did get the tax money and by the skin of their teeth. So those people worked really hard and.
That was good news though. Okay, we do have some policy updates, Mr. Pitts.
Yes, I believe Katie Miller sent those to you all. Do you guys have any questions on any of those 5? You'll have a paper copy of these in your packet when we get out there too, if you need them for any reason, but. Any question on those? I want to say they were sent probably.
I can't get them on my. Are they in the packet?
No, they should. There you go. They
I looked at them on the email, but
They were probably emailed
They
the
were.
1st of December, 1st or 2nd of December, somewhere in that time frame.
School account, they emailed it first.
I know, and I just don't have.
That's right, yeah.
So I-
Katie emailed you a copy.
There's 5 of those. Wait, any questions on any of those? Or anything I can clarify?
On the meeting agenda one, that's just changing days. Is there anything in there about public input, or is that?
Well, it essentially, so on all 5 of these, we're trying to align more with ASBA policy.
Right.
And so that one essentially doesn't, it just changes the process on public input as far as, you know, they would have to be in writing 5 days prior to the board meeting. Superintendent and board president would decide if it goes on the agenda or
That's
not.
just for the agenda. That's not for public participation.
It is. The
Well, it'd be the same thing.
The same thing.
So, right now, there's 2 options for public input, right? There's a regular, it's in the board meeting at the end, right, where they can sign up and speak on whatever issue. Of course, there's restrictions on that. Then there's the second option where they can pick a specific agenda item and speak on it.
Well,
That's how
I
we
mean,
currently do it, right?
yes, I mean, you could look at that as 2 different options. Basically, what we've done is we've just put it on the agenda every month, to where if you want to sign up, you can talk.
But we're doing away with that.
That yes, it would go to, if you want to sign up to talk, instead of doing it minutes before you walk in the board, you would have to submit it in writing, 5 days prior, meet with or talk to superintendent, board president, that kind of thing.
I went to a class last week talking about how to conduct a meeting. Me and Carla and Jeff, but it was some of the examples they were showing was the exact stuff that we see here. So A, it made me feel like we're not alone, but B, they were saying if you allow public input and somebody gets up there and says y'all are morons or even raises their voice, tell them ago, they were recommending being a lot sterner than we've been, I feel like, so,
And I may be in the minority, but I mean, it's not flawless, it's not without its flaws, but I like the way we do public input now. I might not like what happens when we do it. Maybe that's just my, philosophical outlook on life, things, but I like the current way. And I'm not saying it's not without its complaints, believe me, I understand the reading between the lines here on some of this stuff, but, I like the way we do it now. It's not perfect, but I wouldn't feel good about slashing it in its entirety, but like I said, I'm 1-7, so that's just.
We're not slashing it, we're revising it. We've revised this policy, it's not, I don't know when it was changed, but it's been revised from the law. I mean, we're on our own doing it the way we're doing it, and it's not necessarily.
We don't have to offer it, right, is what you're saying, but we're pretty generous on it as is right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've done it for 22, 3 years,
Yeah.
that's how long I've done it. I understand why we would want to submit it, because to me, that's being more proactive. So then, you know about it, board president knows about it, we can probably deal with the problem before it ever comes before the board, and I think that's the way things should be handled anyway. Now, that's not to say that there's not times that someone should speak. If there's an issue that involves students, I'm all about it. I think, personally, I'd kind of like to publicize this as the way we're moving, instead of heartbreak, and that's just me. I mean, I'm pretty broad-shouldered. Some of the public input ruffles me, gets me mad.
Yeah.
Whoever made me mad usually hears what I had to say. That they didn't yell at me, it gets off my chest because I yell back. I don't go out, I go home and sleep at night, it doesn't bother me that bad. Here's my fear, and I mean, I know it's wrong. I feel like if we do this tonight, we've got good momentum going forward with 2 new administrators that I think are doing an extremely job, and other administrators that's been on board. I'm afraid you're gonna have some that's going to attack y'all two. I don't want that, because then I'm really going to fight.
If we go through with this,
That's just my opinion. Now, it will be a very small group that gets really offended by this, and I'm not sure that it would be very much. Yeah, and that's my fear. I'm not worried about myself. I just don't want it to go and start attacking these people here that I'm wanting to affect change on the things that we just talked about on student achievement. Then I'm gonna really get mad.
It would be painted publicly as a lot worse than it actually is.
Because I understand, this is actually an effort to be more proactive, to take care of those things so that you don't have 1,000 FOIs. Because you're gonna be able to try to listen, you're gonna try to take care of it. I don't know if 5 days is the right day. Maybe if we're gonna be proactive, it may need to be 14 days before the next board meeting. I don't know, to give time to fix something. I just don't want it.
it seems we have the same, few folks that do it every time. We kind of have an idea of what they're already going to talk about at some point. Facebook
Which
posts
is
or
how
emails.
productive is it?
Which I agree. It's not productive at all. But I just think the
It's
principle of it.
counterproductive.
It is counterproductive.
Counterproductive.
Yeah.
Right. It's gotten out of hand.
I don't
The
disagree.
citizen participation, in my opinion, has gotten completely out of hand because people feel like they can come and say anything they want to say, whenever